That's all.
But there seems to be some confusion in Yoruba land. I see that maybe perhaps the generality of the people do not feel as passionate about self-determination. And secondly, there is all kinds of positions. Afenifere is talking about restructuring. You are talking about self-determination.
You don't know this. You don't know the nature of the Yoruba society. You don't. Most of the young people, and they are the majority in Yoruba land, want the self-determination of their Yoruba nation. That's the truth of the matter. That's what is keeping the movement going. And they are also doing so in the diaspora. Yoruba young men and women all over the world want their own country, separate from Nigeria. You cannot deny that. No matter how much you want to pander to the government, you cannot deny that. But that's the truth.
But anyway,
the important thing, however, and I'm surprised that you are not talking about that, is that the Yoruba people who are fighting for self-determination are telling the world and telling themselves that they will do it only peacefully. We are Yoruba. We know our status in the world. We know our status in the black world. We do not want to destroy the peace of Nigeria, and we do not want to bring difficulty into the lives of any other group in Nigeria. But we want to get out of Nigeria. That's it.
Well, Prof, you were a strong member.
And you're not talking about that. You are asking me questions. You are asking me questions as if what Onitiri did has the support of the majority of Yoruba people who want self-determination. It is not true.
Well, Prof,
she has a small minority of a section that is ready to do illegalities. A year ago, they went and attacked a radio station in Ibadan, and so on. Now this year, they are attacking the entire government of Ibadan, and so on. No, but we have never sent anybody to go and do that, and we do not support it or encourage it. Prof, and we think it is criminal.
Prof,
and so if they get punished for their criminality, we have no objection to that.
Prof, you are a strong member.
You cannot, because of them, generalize opposition to self-determination. You cannot.
Well, Prof, you are a strong member of the Unity Party of Nigeria, also a very strong member of Afenifere. Afenifere is talking about restructuring. You are now talking about self-determination. What is the difference, in these two ideological positions?
Our fathers in Afenifere are doing the right thing, talking about restructuring, so that we can go back and live our own life the way we used to live it prosperously. They're doing the right thing. There is nothing wrong with that. But we, another group of people, larger in number than they, are now saying, no, self-determination is the answer, not restructuring. Why? Because when you restructure, you are still in Nigeria. The people who are coming and disrupting your life and destroying your farms and killing your women and raping your mothers and daughters and so on are still Nigerians. They still have a right to come to Nigeria. The only final solution to that is to separate, so that you have a separate Yoruba country where we can make our own laws and so on, to which we admit only people we want to admit. So nobody can claim that they have a right to come to our land. They don't have such a. But as long as we are in Nigeria, no matter what restructuring is done, they still have the right to come to our land and do the things that we are doing. Nobody is talking about the fact that most Yoruba farmers have been driven from their farms. I am not hearing that. I'm hearing only about government. I'm not hearing about people. You are not talking about the fact that most Yoruba farmers have been driven from their farms, and that the Yoruba nation is in danger of famine upon famine upon famine for years and years to come. You are not talking of the fact that the Fulani declared war on Nigeria on the 24th of January and 26th of January and said that TINUBU is not our president. We are going to Aso Rock. We will take over the seat of government there, and we will use this place to organize the conquest of the rest of Nigeria. You're not talking about that. You are not talking of people who said, no Fulani man must be arrested for the bomb in Ibadan. If you do, you will have bombs in every town in Yoruba, in Nigeria. Nobody's talking about that. Nobody's talking about the sheer insult of living in a country where some people are treating the government like that. You are talking about Onitiri and so on. Why do our...
Well, Prof, let me ask you this. Self-determination, you
are entitled to your opinion. You are entitled to your opinion, but what I'm saying is that your opinion rigorously avoids the truth. Rigorously.
But Prof,
avoids the truth.
Nigeria, as Onigo Chiche told us in his research on ethnic nationalities in Nigeria, has over 300 ethnic nationalities. Will you recommend self-determination to all the other ethnic nationalities in Nigeria? For all these nationalities to break away?
Those who want it don't ask me a general question. I'm asking for self-determination for a nation, the Yoruba nation. There are about 60 million people in Nigeria, and their territory is large enough to be a large country. So that's what I'm talking about. Any other nationality in Nigeria that wants self-determination is free to ask for it. I cannot come and ask for self-determination for nations that are not mine. No.
Well, Prof, as we have this, we're having this conversation. You are in Cotonou, Republic of Benin. Not too long ago, after Chief Sunday Igboho returned to...
ẹ mọ̀ jẹ́ kí a fi àyè gba Fúlàní lórí ilẹ̀ àwọn bàbá wa. Ẹ mọ̀ jẹ́ ká bú ọba mọ́, ẹ mọ̀ jẹ́ ká bú joyè mọ́. Nígbà tá la fẹ́ jà fún àwọn ọ̀rẹ́ wa, táwa ń kọ́kọ́ ń bú ọba, tá ń bú joyè. Èmi náà ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ rí. Bó mo pera mi padà. Ẹ mọ̀ jẹ́ ká bú àgbààgbà kankan mọ́, ẹ mọ̀ bolóṣèlú kankan. Ẹ̀rù kálukú ń bẹ̀rù wọn ò lè sọ̀rọ̀. Ọba ò lè sọ, ìjòyè lè sọ. Ẹ jẹ́ ká ronú. Ẹ mọ̀ jẹ́ ká bá àwọn bàbá wa jà mọ́, ẹ mọ̀ jẹ́ á bú wọn mọ́, ẹ mọ̀ jẹ́ á ṣe wọ́n ra wọn pẹ̀lú wọn. Àwọn àgbà tó bá jólóṣèlú tá bá fẹ́ kọ́ rẹ̀ wá lọ́wọ́ á pè wọ́n mọ́ra á gbé wọn mọ́ra ni à ní bú wọn mọ́. Ẹ mọ̀ jẹ́ àṣejẹ̀gbọ́n, ẹ mọ̀ jẹ́ àdàlúrú. A lè gba ẹ̀tọ́ wa láì ṣèjẹ̀gbọ́n, a lè gba ẹ̀tọ́ wa láì yìnbọn, a lè gba ẹ̀tọ́ wa láì dàlúrú. Gbogbo protest mo ṣe ní ìlú Nàìjíríà mi ò rí ibi tí mo ti ẹnìkan lè sọ pé mo pààyàn tàbí mo jó nǹkan náà tàbí mo bà nǹkan jẹ́. Mo lọ písù torí pé olówó lèmi náà tí ò bá sólówó lára ń dì mọ́. Gbogbo nǹkan tó lọ́n fún yẹn lọ́lọ́run fún mi. Mi ṣe tálákà tó dé pé mo dìde fún jà Yorùbá. Big man ni mi, àwọn tó jẹ́ ọ̀rẹ́ mi tó súnmọ́ mi tó ní owó ní kí ni mo wá lọ bẹ̀. Pé sọ́wọ́ lè mi mò ń fẹ́ ni kí n sọ yìí tí mo fẹ́, mo ní ìsọ̀rọ̀ owó. Àní ọ̀rọ̀ ìran mi ni mò ń sọ. Kí n wọ Gbòho, kí n gbéra, kí n pé mò ń lọ ọ̀dọ̀ ọba Gbòho, mò ń lọ ọ̀dọ̀ oníbodè òfin Gbòho, kí n kójó wọlé kọ́kàn mi balẹ̀, kí n dá wa mọ́tò kí n mọ́ rìn bọ̀, kí Fúlàní mọ́ dá mi dúró títì, kí n délé kí bàbá sọ pé kí n gbé tírélà sùn kí n mọ́ gbé lọ. Àwọn bàbá wo lè lóko mọ́, wọn ò lè lóńdò. Ẹ jẹ́ ká fọwọ́sowọ́pọ̀ ká ti àwọn bàbá wa lẹ́yìn, ká dá security ti wa lẹ̀, ká sọ fún wọn kí wọ́n bá wa fọwọ́ tì í, ká lé wọn kó nu oko wa. Ẹ ṣé mo dúpẹ́, Jésù Olúwa wa.
Koikimedia, we're bringing the world closer to your doorstep.
Koikimedia, 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 we bringing the world closer to your doorstep.
Koikimedia, 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 we bringing the world closer to your doorstep.
wetin we carry for her.
But they move closer before they go sabi.
I said they never know wetin we carry for body.
But they move closer before they go sabi.
Ọ̀kín lọ lọ́jà ẹyẹ ìníhùn ló ló lajú.
Ẹyẹ tó lórí kodò bí àdán ọ̀pẹ̀tẹ̀ lẹ́nu.
Ká ṣiṣẹ́ fún ilẹ̀ bàbá wa, ká ṣiṣẹ́ fún ìlú bàbá wa, ká jùmọ̀ sowọ́pọ̀ ká lè kó dúdú àga.
Òdúdú àkóbá lè gbé wá.
Ọmọ Odùduwà ṣègìrì ẹ dìde fún ẹ̀tọ́ adúláwọ̀ ká lè jọ jùmọ̀ gbé délẹ̀ ìlérí ká wálé gba ògo ilẹ̀ wa ká ṣiṣẹ́ ká lè jọ gbàdé ká lè gbàdé adé adúláwọ̀ àwa ní mọ̀lẹ̀ tí yóò tàn káàkiri.
Ọmọ Odùduwà ni wá.
Koikimedia àwa là ń gbé tó lárugẹ.
Ètò tó pọ̀jù owó tí wàá mọ̀ ní.
Kásá ẹgbẹ́ polówó ọjà wá kájé gbùgbà yín jẹ.
Ètò tó pọ̀jù owó tí wàá mọ̀ ní.
À ń gbé tó lárugẹ à ń gbàsà lárugẹ.
Ètò tó pọ̀jù owó tí wàá mọ̀ ní.
News and sports ẹ máa rí gbọ́.
Ètò tó pọ̀jù owó tí wàá mọ̀ ní.
Ọmọ Ìjẹ̀bú alárẹ̀ mi ló ní kí n máa ké tantan. Koikimedia ọlọ́lá gbajúmọ̀ mi o máa bá ṣẹ̀rẹ̀ lọ o. Ọmọ Yorùbá nìyẹn ọmọ Yorùbá tata o. À ń gbádùn rẹ ọmọ Ìjẹ̀bú alárẹ̀ mi ṣẹ́yìn ló máa fi dìbò tẹ̀ mọ́lẹ̀ o. Ẹ̀yin lọ́mọ onígbò máa ń dé mádémádé ẹ̀yin lọ́mọ onígbò máa wọ̀ o. Igbó máa wọ̀ gájòjì ò gbọ́dọ̀ wọ àjòjì tó bá wọ bẹ́ẹ̀ á tẹ̀lé ní ẹbọra. Ẹ̀yin lọ máa náwó kóyìnbó tó dé ìgbà tó yìnbó dé o owó náà dẹ́ tún pọ̀ sí o Koikimedia ṣàwa ní bàbá. Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá.
Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá.
Àdáńtọ́ àtúnpèrègèdè.
Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá.
Àwa là ń gbé tò lárugẹ jẹ́ ká jọ gbọ́ o.
Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá.
Àtúnjàfẹ́tọ̀ ilẹ̀ wa fẹ́tọ̀ ilẹ̀ Yorùbá.
Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá.
Ọmọ Oòduà ni wá o tọkàntọkàn.
Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá.
Ikú tó ṣe bí lébi òsì àdìmú bàbá iyọ̀.
Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá.
We bring you up closer to your doorstep.
Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá.
Afẹ́fẹ́ tó ń fẹ́ o tó ń kan gígo lára ni.
Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá.
Àpèrègèdè Olódùmarè ló fún wa ṣe.
Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá.
Gbogbo ayé ẹ gbọ́ àwa ní bàbá o.
Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá.
Ẹ máa bọ̀ wá ẹgbẹ́ polówó ọjà yín wá o.
Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá.
Odùduwà lágbèdá ní òtítọ́ lágbèdá ní.
Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá.
A kì í sọ̀dálẹ̀ a kì í sọdí kẹta.
Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá.
Àdúró tán a tún pèrègèdè.
Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá.
Koikimedia we bring you up closer to your doorstep.
Àwọn ní bàbá.
Koikimedia is around.
To give us latest.
Is around o.
Give us latest.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Ẹ mú kalẹ̀ sílẹ̀, ẹ tẹ́tí ẹ gbọ́ ètò tó pọ̀jù owó.
ladies and gentlemen,
Ẹ mú kalẹ̀ sílẹ̀, ẹ tẹ́tí ẹ gbọ́ ètò tó pọ̀jù owó.
Koikimedia is around.
To give us
Shine. And a very good afternoon and welcome once again to the transmission from London. My name is OLAYOMI KOIKI, one of the campaigners and the media to the self-determination of the Yoruba people. Today is the 7th day of the month of May 2024. It's just coming up to 14:25 p.m. local time in London. I welcome you once again. As you're settling into the broadcast, please share it and let us also try to educate and bring you up to date with some of the development and what is happening surrounding self-determination and so many other issues affecting the Yoruba people within Nigeria. Mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin ará ilé ní gbogbo ibikíbi tí ẹ bá ti láǹfààní àti tún darapọ̀ mọ́ wa ní wákàtí. Mo kí wa pé ṣé dáadáa ni a tún láǹfààní àti bára wa. Mo kí wa pé bẹ́ ṣe ń darapọ̀ mọ́ wa ẹ bá wa pé ètò mo dẹ̀ bẹ̀ wá torí Elédùmarè. Please don't ever tell me to speak only Yoruba because I am not communicating to you alone. We have millions of people around the world that we want them to understand our plight, and it is important that we also communicate in English. Mo kí wa pé ẹ káàbọ̀ lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí, and let us settle into the broadcast. Let us first appreciate all our leaders and those that are working tirelessly to make sure that the Yoruba self-determination, which is an inalienable right, just the same right from the Scottish to the Welsh to the Sahara, Western Sahara, and many other countries around the world that want to be free. We'll first and foremost appreciate Professor Adebanji Akintoye, the leader and the one and only representing the Yoruba self-determination. And as we continue to appreciate Professor Banji Akintoye, we respect also all our leaders from the ones at home and those outside. We'd like to say thank you so much to Dr. Chief Sunday Adeyemo Igboho for leaving himself and allowing us to make use of him during this period that the Yoruba people are asking for something very, very legitimate to them. We'd like to appreciate also our late legend, Baba Awolowo, and as many of all our kings that are still alive, and we hope that one day many of them will be speaking much more better than what they are doing at the moment. This afternoon, our pointer is going to focus on one particular area, and that is the YSDM. Many Yoruba people might not know the meaning of the YSDM. I'll be telling you everything we need to know. But from the information reaching my desk, there has been some update articles of association that I want to read out to us. But before we get to that as well, I'll be telling you much about the write-up from one of our father, Oluwole Ajala, that was on the 30th of March. We've been trying to catch up with that, but it seems that every now and then I am not able to do so. Dissolution is the solution. I'll be telling you about that. But the first concern that many people have been asking us, have been receiving in-update calls from many of our listeners and those that are not our listeners, and there's one particular question that everybody is asking me. We know that, in the presidency, there's a lot of things happening. But one question that is coming back to my desk is, where is President Bola Ahmed Tinubu? And as I am quoting what people are saying, has he been injected? And is he currently still alive? I know many of you probably don't want us to talk about it because you believe that since he's a Yoruba man, we should just ignore and see that we are not hearing what people are saying. Let me make this clear. I do not have any information about the president. I do not know where he is as I speak to you, but all intelligence is pointing that he's currently in France. That is what is already in the public domain. What I can tell you is that according to the presidency, we know that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu left Saudi Arabia, which was the last time we saw him speaking at the podium. And if many of you remember, there was also some kind of information that the president, signed a deal with Musk in terms of the shipping and the logistic to the tune of $600 million. But what I can say to you is that it seems that since the last time the picture of the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu came into the limelight, nobody knows where he is currently, but there are many speculation and information that the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has been injected with what I don't know. I don't have evidence to that. I don't have any proof to that, but that is the rumor as I speak to you right now, that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has been injected. Like I said, these are still rumor. It is not yet confirmed. But from the last time we know, the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, with this image that was released sometime around the 28th of April 2024, which was last month, you could see that this image came from the State House Digital, and it stated clearly that was posted just about 8:37 p.m. local time on April 28, 2024. This was posted on the official presidential handle on X. And not just one image. This is President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, I believe, with Bill Gates to your left-hand side. I'm not sure the other person on the other side. If we go further, you can see that we have a clear image of the president with other two representatives from Nigeria, and that is also Bill Gates. These are the well-known picture that we have of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu as at the time of this report. All I can say is that the speculation that is out in the public domain is not confirmed, and it is not yet proven that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is currently taking some kind of medication or being taken care of because he has been injected from the rumor that is circulating on the social media. All I can also tell you that the other images prior to that, the one I showed you earlier, is the other one that the president had a discussion during the Saudi Arabia World Economic Forum. And again, these are the images posted from Saudi Arabia. President Bola Tinubu speaks at the opening preliminary of the World Economic Forum on a special meeting on the global collaboration, the growth, energy for development 2024, a new vision for global development, Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Again, this was posted on the 28th of April 2024, just before 1400 hours. The question then is, where is the president after these images and the video evidence that was also put out? I know from what I'm looking at, that is the Kenya president just sitting next to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. But ever since the 28th that the events have already completed, nobody knows where Tinubu is. But a lot of information continue to prop up that the president is currently in France. The presidential handle have not confirmed such. But there was a particular minister that I was able to pick this morning, and I'm talking about the Minister of Health. He was asked about the president, and also while the president is not receiving treatment in Nigeria. We know that the previous president, Muhammadu Buhari, spent almost half of his tenure traveling on medical ground to United Kingdom. But it seems that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu prefer to use France as his own point of medical treatment. But like I said, those speculation that the president has been injected and the president is currently in somewhere in France being looked after, I cannot confirm such because I do not have the evidence to that. Whatever you must have read on the social media or whatever you must have seen is exactly the same thing I saw as well. But one thing we need to remember is that we have a continent that is under shielding of the presidency, whether it's in Kenya, South Africa, whether it is somewhere in the East Africa. We are always not being told exactly where your president is and the purpose of where they've traveled to and why they are not giving us up-to-date information after leaving from an event and why they are not returning back to Nigeria. I know that the vice president was meant to be traveling to US. But again, what we were told is that the vice president had to abort that traveling because the aircraft that was taking him to America developed some fault. That is all I know. But the problem is that when the presidency continued to shield and not giving up-to-date information about the number one citizen of the country, this will generate all kind of speculation. And that speculation means that until the president surfaces again within the next few days, then it will dose off the tension that probably, as usual, we know that the president has been to France for medical treatment, even though his handlers are not coming out to tell us that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is receiving any kind of treatment in France. But again, from what the papers and the media, both on ground and offline, are saying, is that the presidential jet is currently hibernating somewhere in Paris. Again, the question is, if the presidential jet is hibernating in Paris, what is it that the presidential handle cannot tell us that the president is currently out of the country, he's gone to Saudi Arabia, and he has decided to pay a visit to France for one reason or the other? But like I said, Africa is just one continent that is full of different mystery. And we can never unbundle that mystery. And this is the reason why it's also important that should in the future we have a country of our own called the Yoruba Kingdom, Yoruba Nation, Oduduwa Republic, we would not tolerate where the president or the prime minister or whatever government that we are going to be using would leave and for us not to know where he has been. Once again, whatever you are reading right now on the social media about the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu are probably speculation because no one has confirmed it from the presidency. It is just rumor, and rumor, as we know, is something that spread when the presidency itself is not coming out to tell us exactly what is happening and why President Bola Tinubu has not returned back from Saudi Arabia, where the event has currently completed. Because if we know where the president is, then it will be very easy for us to start saying, yes, the president is not in the country, is outside the country, or is in the country. But for the fact that this shielding of the president from not allowing us to know where the president is like something that doesn't work in 21st century. You cannot have the number one citizen of the country that should be known his location. We are not worried about his health care. Everybody has different health reasons that they are managing. But for the fact that the presidency are shielding the president from Nigeria, continue to tell you that speculation of the presidency or president will bring all manners of different things. And if you look at the People's Gazette of May 6th, yesterday, presidential jet shows that President Bola Tinubu secretly hibernating in Paris week after Saudi summit. First and foremost, let's get the meaning of hibernating for the benefit of our people. The meaning of hibernate.
Hibernate.
When we use the word
hibernate,
it literally means remain inactive. So President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is inactive as I speak to you right now. Even though I read in some of his handlers that President Bola Tinubu can operate from anywhere in the world. Nobody dispute that. But the question is, where is President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and why is he
hibernate?
Because if the president is hibernating, that is not too good for a country that is going through insecurity, economic problem, welfare, and many other issues that the president should be dealing with on a daily basis. But it seems right now, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is
hibernate.
So what do we mean by the word hibernating? Hibernating is a deep sleep that helps them to save energy and survive the winter without eating much. During hibernation, the animal's body temperature drops and his heartbeat and his breathing slow down so that he does not use much energy. It now indicates that it seems that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is hibernating somewhere in Paris after the Saudi Arabia summit, according to this particular paper known as People's Gazette. My name is Oluwole Koiki. This is Koikimedia, bringing you up to date of current development in Nigeria. And as we're going to be discussing Yoruba self-determination and why YSDM has given us the latest update when it comes to the article, which I'm going to be reading in a minute. But let's first clear the air on President Bola Tinubu. So let's read a little bit from this article. President Bola Tinubu has not been seen since he departed for an official trip to Riyadh in Saudi Arabia last week to attend a special session of the World Economic Forum that I did show you somewhere right there. Right here. So these are the last images that we know of President Bola Tinubu while he was in Saudi Arabia. He doesn't look like somebody that is sick from what you're looking right here. But we know that everybody has one ailment that we are nursing. But the fact that nobody knows where he is, but it seems that one of the papers have been able to track the presidential jet hibernating is Tinubu. That also means that many people today will continue to be concerned that not hearing from President Bola Tinubu means that all kind of rumors, he has been injected, he's not feeling well, and is currently receiving treatment until the presidential team comes out and tell Nigerians what is happening to President Bola Tinubu. Those rumors will continue to filter from every part of the world because the Nigerian president is also as important as any other president around the world. The forum, as we know, the forum concluded as far back as on the April 29 last month. But the president's whereabouts remain a mystery, leaving Nigerians concerned about their leaders' whereabouts in the face of severe fuel shortage, depreciating currency, and the sky rocketing inflation. As we all know, Inflation is just around on a daily basis in Nigeria, and many Nigerians are facing fuel scarcity. Let's go further. People's Gazette checks show the presidential jet left Riyadh in Saudi Arabia on April 30 last month, one day after the summit ended, and arrived in London on the same day. So it seems that the presidential jet got to London. Then, according to People's Gazette, and I'm talking according to People's Gazette, I don't have the fact and evidence. I am just going in accordance to what the People's Gazette is saying. Then the presidential jet departed London Stansted Airport for Paris Le Bourget on May 2nd, which is just 5 days ago, where he has remained ever since without the knowledge of most of his key aides. Is this how we should continue to live? Is this how we should continue to live in denial, knowing fully well that this can no longer continue? I am just learning now from you that the president might be in Paris. We were all fooled that he was visiting someone in London even as of yesterday, Sunday evening, according to a senior presidential aide said under anonymity, to discuss frustration among officials over the president's conduct. We don't know why he's hiding his movement from us. The president had traveled on the Gulfstream G550, typically assigned to the vice president Kashima Shettima, but after the main presidential jet broke down, remember that the presidential jet broke down along the route, Mr. Tinubu picked up his deputy's plane to do his own foreign trips. The People's Gazette was not immediately able to ascertain whether or not Mr. Tinubu was in Paris at the time of this publication. Previous administration had used the presidential jet as a veil to hide the actual whereabouts of a president, even though a jet location, especially abroad, often accurately indicate the location of the Nigerian leader traveling in it. The State House did not return a request seeking comment about the Nigerian president's whereabouts. Mr. Tinubu is known to frequent Paris and London. Checks by People's Gazette on Aboki Forex, a platform that displays the official and parallel rate of the Naira against other currency, revealed Monday morning that the Nigerian currency is trading at 1,390 to $1, indicating a reverse of the gains the Naira had made against the dollar. So again, that is on the president. But if we come back out of that, the vice president also was meant to be traveling to the United States of America. This is what Atiku is saying. Who is in charge of Nigeria presently? As Atiku queries Tinubu Shettima's absence. But it seems that maybe, I'm just saying maybe because of the pressure of many Nigerians asking that, would it be right that the president and the vice president simultaneously not going to be in Nigeria? We were told that the presidential jet that will be taking the vice president stopped working, and that means the Minister for Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Yusuf Maitama Toga, will now represent President Bola Ahmed Tinubu at the 2024 U.S.-Africa Summit that will be taking place in Dallas. Nigeria is just a mystery, and it will remain a mystery until the final collapse of the country that was put together by Britain in 1914 fraudulent amalgamation. So that is on that. So if you're one of those that have been asking, either quietly or you are just probably a little bit concerned, all I can tell you is that nobody knows where Tinubu is presently, but indication says he is in Paris. I haven't got any information that he has been injected by any kind of whatever. All I can tell you is that We know that TINUBU visits France frequently, and it could just be another routine medical treatment. But we will continue to monitor. Today is the 7th day of the month of May 2024. And we would monitor for the next couple of days and see if the president resurfaces back in Abuja or not. And I'll be telling you all that you need to know. And that is on President Bola Tinubu. For those of you that have been asking me, Mr. Koikimedia, where is President Bola Tinubu? All I can tell you, I am not convinced or sure that he has been injected. I don't have that intelligence or information, but we know that so many things are happening in Nigeria that will continue to become darkness for many of us to understand what is happening. So that is on that. And I'm going to close all that so that we can then focus back on the... I did promise to show you a video that I picked up during an probably engagement with Dr. Tunji Alawusa, who is the Minister of State for Health and Social Welfare. He says, and I quote, before we play the video, "I will not disclose presidential information, but the president gets some health care in Nigeria. The president believes in Nigerian doctors and the healthcare system." Dr. Tunji Alawusa, the Minister of State for Health and Social Welfare. I want you to put it at the back of your mind like this. Should we say that Joe Biden, the President of the Federal of America, United States of America, leaves America and nobody knows where he is after 4-5 days? Because looking at it right now, it's already more than 5 days that President Bola Tinubu is missing in action. If Rishi Sunak, the Prime Minister, or Justin Trudeau, the Canadian Prime Minister, or Modi, the Indian Prime Minister, or the Chinese Prime Minister or Premier that is currently on a state visit to France, disappeared off the radar for days and nobody knows their location, what do you think their citizens will be saying? But for many Nigerians, especially some Yorubas that have argued with me that we should not be talking about the location or wherever TINUBU is, we should just leave it like that. I am not one of your bloggers, neither am I one of your V-bloggers. I am a journalist and it is my right to ask questions, and it is the right of the presidency to come out and tell us, is President Bola Ahmed Tinubu dead or alive? Because the rumor outside says he's dead. I do not believe that until there is evidence to prove that. We know that during Buhari, we were hearing the same thing, that Buhari was dead and whatever we were saying was a double body. Like I said, it will be in the interest of the presidential team to come out and tell Nigerians, is President Bola Ahmed Tinubu alive or is he dead? If he's alive, which we hope he is, let out the video evidence dated with evidence to prove his life is still ongoing. And if he's dead, it is also in the interest of the world and the international community and Nigerians to know that President Bola Tinubu is dead. Like I said, these are the rumors that is outside as I speak to you right now, and don't try to put it in my mouth as if I am the one saying it. Many of you have heard it, many of you have listened to it, so don't pretend as if this is something not to be said. I am not one of those your brown envelope journalists. I am asking again, is President Bola Tinubu dead or alive? If he's alive, we need a video evidence to prove he's alive. And if he's dead, we need to know so that we can also confirm that officially. Let's listen now to the Minister of Health, the Minister for State of Health and Social Welfare, saying, I will not be able to disclose where TINUBU is right now as well. My name is OLAYOMI KOIKI, and this is Koikimedia Live.
It's personal. It's your personal choice.
When it comes to the president, it'll restore confidence, wouldn't it? If he were to stop going abroad for healthcare and do it here in Nigeria.
Let me tell you something. I won't disclose personal presidential information in public, but the president is getting some of his care in Nigeria. And I can tell you that.
Right.
And I'm positioned to say, so I have that privilege, but I can tell you, Mr. President, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is getting some of his health care in Nigeria. He believes in this. And he believes in Nigerian doctors. He believes in Nigerian providers. All those are the people providing his care. So irrespective of whatever people tell you, just take that. Those are nonsensical information, I'm sorry to say about that.
Well, that's why you're the Minister of State for Health, and we want to hear it from your lips. Business Day newspaper, of course, recently described Nigeria as one of the most perilous places in the world to face a life-threatening emergency. I'm not talking about regular care. I'm talking about life-threatening emergency, whether it's a road accident on the highway or a sudden medical crisis at home. The paper said that the odds are stacked against survival. What is the problem there?
Charles, I'm not here to argue or to argue about false information that people are saying. Today, a lady just came to my office, a cancer survivor. She'll be going public.
I'm talking about medical emergencies.
Medical emergency.
If somebody were to get into a road accident in the middle of a motorway, what guarantee is there that they will get fast, efficient treatment? If I was, for example, in the UK or in the US or perhaps even in Rwanda, there would be an ambulance service that would immediately get to the place. They're close to the motorway, and they would immediately take them to a place where they'd get instant treatment and improve their chances of survival. What would...
I want to prove that the minister is one of the fraudulent ministers being put together that tell Nigerian lies. Your chances of surviving in a motor accident in Nigeria is very, very limited. You would die before leaving that spot. There was an accident that took place somewhere today, I guess in Anambra State, and is a very glory one. So for those of you that are watching us right now, if you are not too very, very comfortable, you might want to move away from your screen, because I'm going to show you that what the journalist presenter was asking the Minister for State, that you are likely to die should you encounter a road accident. This is what happened today. And as you can see, this is a road accident that occurred today in Anambra State. And you can tell that for as much as the video is only 24 seconds, the woman on the ground is not likely to survive because there is no emergency services to go after this particular woman to be able to get a full medical treatment. And like I said, this happened today in Anambra. It happened at Oba Onitsha, Anambra State. So when you listen to some of these fraudulent, and these are the reason why we are saying to the Yoruba people, it is important that we get the hell out of Nigeria, because like I always said to you, you would not survive 53 years old in Nigeria. If you do, you are likely just because, not because of God, it's just by fluke of chance. You are likely to die before the age 52 years old, according to the World Bank. But if you're living in Japan, you are likely to survive up to 85 years old. But the minister is telling lies. While the question was asked, let's hear what the minister responded to. If you got involved in a motor accident in any part of Nigeria, whether from the local to the motor highway, wherever you are, do you think that your chances to survive is high? I can tell you that your chances are very, very slim. And these are the reasons why we are saying that Nigeria is no longer capable to look after the health care of the Yoruba people. Let us move out of Nigeria and find a way to develop a good medical system for our loved ones in case they fall into a motor accident. Let's go back to the final part of the video. Then after this, we go straight to the YSDM conversation.
there would be an ambulance service that would immediately get to the place. They're close to the motorway, and they would immediately take them to a place where they'd get instant treatment and improve their chances of survival. Yes. What would happen to someone? That's what the newspaper is talking about.
We're building our emergency medical services aggressively. 5% of the basic healthcare provision fund is being directed to emergency medical services. Now, we have a team in the Ministry of Health that we're working, actually beyond that, procuring new ambulances, designing new way, not just the traditional ambulance that you would see,
right?
Other things that fit into our local system where people and the local community can have emergency transport ambulance service that will take them to the
So you're working on it, but it's not there yet.
No, we had some of them. We're deploying a lot of them. These are things. Remember, this government is 11 months old, and for what
I understand that.
For what we are tackling each of these.
I mean, nobody is saying you're not doing the job, but
yes.
the point is, where are you now?
Where are we now?
Yeah.
We put process in place to add more ambulances to our stock. We're working with the local government, citing locations where we'll have some of these homemade ambulance transportation to our public health system. We're retrofitting a primary care system so that they can even be the first point of contact where care will be delivered to this patient. If you go to our Federal Medical Center, our teaching hospital, we have several state-of-the-art emergency room in all these hospitals. People are not just talking about the good thing in the healthcare system. Everybody just look at the bad thing, but then a lot of good things have happened.
If you follow these kind of individual criminals in government, you will die before your time. If you're still one of those that believe in the Nigerian healthcare system, all I can say is I wish you good luck with your loved ones and family. For those that have the money, please do not rely on the medical healthcare in Nigeria. If you can find your way to any other country for good medical, please do so. But again, look after your health, because your health will not be taken care of by the criminal country known as Nigeria. So that is on that. Now, let's come back on the real conversation today, and that is the Yoruba self-determination movement. Update articles of association. We have, the leaders of the Yoruba self-determination, Professor Adebanji Akintoye, also Otumba Demola, and the many others that are working tirelessly to look into how we can continue to develop and bring the YSDM in a way that many people will be able to probably become part of it and also explore it in much a different way from what it used to be. In everything in life, development must come into it. Sometimes, if you're working, you are likely to get changes. And today, what we are going to be reading out is going to be a lengthy one because it's about almost 18 pages. We will be discussing it in due course, maybe not today, but probably in some other programs. But we thought that we bring this up to date to you. If you want to have a copy, you don't need to communicate with me. If you are already on the Koikimedia WhatsApp group chat, you would have received this, and we've also shared it to some few contacts. But you can always go on our website, which is www.koikimedia.com. And when you get to the website, there are so many things that we've been able to put there, and we are still working tirelessly to develop the Koikimedia website. In as much as it is meant to be a business website for myself, we've again dedicated it to the Yoruba Nation cause. And that literally means that you will find more things that probably you need to know when it comes to the Yoruba Nation, activities and much more as well. Whether it is the Chief Sunday Igboho's house that was destroyed by the Fulani government in 2021, you will find whatever you need to pick up from there. Whether it is just, the Yoruba, Professor Adebanji Akintoye, the national leader, the letter to President Bola TINUBU, you can always go there and you can download the copy, you can read it yourself, and all these are good for you to keep, because there's no point if you are one of the members of the Yoruba Nation that believes in it, you should be keeping some of this record as well. We are doing our best to make sure that we keep them as well. So when you go on the Chief Sunday Igboho's house, you will find many documents. You will find Igboho's video, the one that he read just after he was released officially and on his way to to Germany on the 8th of October. And as many also when he got to Germany, many other articles of Igboho's activities, whether, you know, the ones that many of you might need as you continue to engage your representative in your local government across the world, whether you are in India, in Canada, you just need some information that you want to tender with your letter to talk about the plight of the Yoruba people. You go on our website, you will find multiple of images that you can print and take down there. And I can also tell you that many Yoruba people have also taken advantage for those that are claiming one asylum or the other around the world. So if you go there, you will see more deaths would have been recorded if I hadn't escaped. You know, some of these are, you know, screenshot of the newspaper. Sunday Igboho court order Nigeria to pay 20 billion and many more from our website. Again, some of the images as Igboho was arriving back in Germany. Also the death of Kokoro, where his head was removed, and many more of such. Again, if you go on the Yoruba Nation, you will find more other document that is there. We are updating them. Yoruba Self-Determination Movement, a statement by Alano. You will find there also Article 51 of the United Nations Charter, written in 1945. You know, you would also find Yoruba Nation chooses the noble path. Many people say Baba Akintoye never had a template, but all this is because some of you have been very lazy to find where the template is. Baba Akintoye wrote a template, a 35-page template. We are going in concordance with that template. It's a non-violent movement, regardless of whether some of our utterances might not fit into your conversation. Baba Akintoye says it will be a non-violent movement, and it has been so for the last 3.5 years. So if you go on there, you can download that as well. A manual of the Yoruba self-determination struggle that tells you everything you need to know about the Yoruba nation, what you should be doing. Many of you that have different WhatsApp group, you know, I was in one of the groups this morning, and it seems that many people, like I said in my program yesterday, we must continue to encourage ourselves. We must not get tired. No matter what, agbodo dúró dáadáa, agbodo jẹ́ kó rẹwà. Thank you so much, Mr. Kayode Mola, and I'll be giving us the details because these are the things that did the update. But I'm just telling you that towards the Yoruba self-determination, Yoruba nation chooses the noble path to its noble goal. It's a 35-page manual. It is important we can understand it. These are how and why we will get our country, not by, you know, the fraudulent duponitary that wanted to overpower the secretariat. Again, you know, let's make it stick. So many things are there, and if you're looking for the one that we're going to be discussing today, all you need to do is, I guess that one is just under the Yoruba Nation as well. So let me go a little bit further down. Again, thanks so much to Bishop Adeshina. We will be discussing this more again in one of our programs, where he is able to give us the province of all the Yoruba Nation. You know, different province. They are not fully accurate, but they are almost something that can always be amended. All that you can go around and look into it as well and ask questions around it as well. Very, very powerful that we know all this. If you're not going on the Koikimedia website, but you are finding you know, other information that you should not be finding, especially many of you believe in gossip rather than looking for the truth. The truth is on the YSDM. The truth is on Ilano. The truth is on Baba Akintoye. No matter what, the Yoruba people will be free. It might just take a bit of time before we get there. Again, some of the short videos that we've done in the past that indicate and explain why we want Yoruba nation. And like I said, we are doing and we're developing more, but without as much of your support into the media, there's less that we can do. But the little resources that we have with the Koikimedia team, we need more laptops so that the team at home can be working around the clock. We need laptops, we need many devices to work with. But again, we hope that some of you will continue to support it as well. So some of the videos that we've done as well, I believe the particular one we're going to be discussing today is somewhere, again, this was Igboho when he was going into Kishi. as many of you probably forgot about that. I think it's under the Yoruba document files. Again, the Yoruba document files has a lot of different documents as well. The Yoruba proverbs. It's also got, I started to sketch. This is Babakito's book. If you want the PDF or if you want the hard copy, you can always buy it. It's currently in America as well. I started to sketch the outline of the Yoruba history since 1978. Bear with us, those of you that are watching us, not too sure, it seems that we are having maybe some glitch. Let's close this so that we have less pressure on the, what's this? All right, I want to read that. We cannot come back to that. So I think we should be fine. So again, History of the Yoruba People by Banji Akintoye is about 519. You can download it or you can get the hard copy from most of the bookshop in Nigeria. But the one that we're going to read now, I've already added it to it this morning. And I guess, again, Yoruba Nation Gazette. Declaration of Granting, we've talked about that. The letter that we sent to ICC, most of these letters will take time. The Yoruba Nation also, self-determination, the letter that we sent to Buhari on the 6th of August, you can always find it there. The one for TINUBU is there as well. And many more as well. I think it's currently by the, let's see. I know I've downloaded it right here, but not too sure. I think it might be right here. Let's see. Bear with me. Once again, a very good afternoon as we continue. These are Igbo's house and all the atrocity that was committed there. All right. So where did I put it? I think it's in between the Yoruba document files. It's towards the end. I've already uploaded it today. This was the letter we sent to the ICC on 2021. So much work has been done by all our leaders, and we are grateful to have them. This was the proposed constitution. But this particular one I'm talking about, I know it's there. I just have to find it. Okay, it's not on this particular one. It might be on this one, Yoruba Nation. Mo kí gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá nílé lóko tíbi tí ẹ ti ń gbọ́ wa tí ẹ ti ń wò wá. Ẹ má bínú sí wa pé yeah, that is it. Yoruba Nation Self-Determination Movement update article. So tẹ́ bá lọ sórí Koikimedia, ẹ lọ sọ́ndà Yoruba Nation. Not the Yoruba document files. Under Yoruba Nation, you scroll all the way down and you will find it there. Yoruba Self-Determination Movement updated articles of association. So when you go there, you will find it right in there. So now let's come into it and then read as much out of it. It's almost 1:15, and then let us start taking it one step at a time. A very, very good afternoon. If you're new to the platform, remember that this is a self-determination media, and all we discuss on this platform is all about Yoruba Nation and you know, the views and the reasons and as much of why we need to leave Nigeria as well. So let's start with this, and I hope my camera is not. Let me adjust my camera a little bit so that you can also read along with me. It's going to be in English. I will not be able to read it in Yoruba. It's going to be in English, but we hope that we can take as much out of it. So let's read further. Thank you so much, those of you on the MixLR. We are live fully on all different platforms. We are live on all our platforms. Yoruba Self-Determination Movement, updated articles of association. Background. Following the resolve of many Yorubas to have their own independent nation outside of the Union, we now known as Nigeria today, quite a lot of individuals established various groups and organizations to pursue the dream of achieving an independent Yoruba. Many of these groups and organizations formed were thus working at cross purposes, which meant that many of the activities were duplication of each other. The net result of these many organizations led to many drawbacks and at seldom times causing weariness to the many Yoruba patriots on the self-determination struggle. It is for this reason that the idea of the YSDM, the Yoruba Self-Determination Movement, was thought of as a collaborative body for identify leaders of Yoruba self-determination organizations to have a framework for achieving the task ahead after several consultations, closed-door virtual meetings, the Yoruba Self-Determination Movement, YSDM, was established on the 7th of August 2021, but thereafter inaugurated on 23rd of September 2021. After 2 years of the YSDM existence, the need arose for structural changes to the YSDM. A structural revamping committee was put in place and enormously rectified the council following the conclusion of their assignment. This body was constituted to update the Articles of Association to reflect the revamping structure. Article 1, name. The name of the organization will continue to be Yoruba Self-Determination Movement, YSDM, aka Àkójọ Ajìjàǹgbara Orílẹ̀-èdè Yorùbá. Article 2, purpose and objective. Section 1, purpose. The purpose of the YSDM, Àkójọ Ajìjàǹgbara Orílẹ̀-èdè Yorùbá, Yoruba Self-Determination Movement, is to achieve sovereignty for the Yoruba nation, láti gba ẹ̀tọ́ ọmọ ènìyàn padà lọ́wọ́ ìjọba Nàìjíríà amúnisìn láti lè gẹ́gẹ́ bí orílẹ̀-èdè tiwọn. Section 2, objectives. The objectives of the organization shall be as follows, but not limited to. Number 1, proactively engage with the Nigerian state using available instruments provided for by the international laws and legislation. Number 2, proactively engage with the international communities through diplomacy, share beliefs, and common interest. Number 3, to facilitate trust, respect, honesty, open relations between the Yoruba self-determination groups. Number 4, to work towards the common goal of independence for Yoruba land. Number 5, to accelerate the process of Yoruba self-determination. Number 6, to collaborate with all Yoruba self-determination groups. Article 3, structure of the YSDM and member criteria. Section 1, structure. The Yoruba Self-Determination Movement, YSDM, Àkójọpọ̀ Ajìjàǹgbara Ọmọ Yorùbá, shall operate under the following reverse structure. Number 1, the Yoruba Self-Determination General Council. Number 2, the National Cabinet, otherwise known as Executive. Number 3, the Yoruba Self-Determination Department. Number 4, the Yoruba Self-Determination Secretariat. Number 5, countries, states, local government of the YSDM. Section 2, the Yoruba Self-Determination General Council, YSDC. The Yoruba Self-Determination General Council, YSDC, shall, number 1, be the legislative organ of the YSDM. Number 2, hold oversight authority over and receive regular periodical report from A, the executive, the department, the secretariat, countries and state and local government of the YSDM, and the national and deputy national leader, the chief of personnel. Number 3, meet periodically as outlined in these articles of association. And number 4, execute other duties set forth in these articles of association. Number 5, any proposal to amend these articles shall be made by the council. Number 6, the YSDC Yoruba Self-Determination General Council shall determine the accession of the new members and the expulsion of the member organizations or individuals where necessary. Number 7, the YSDM member can resign at any time, but reassign or excluded or resign or excluded members or their legal successor shall have no right on the asset of the YSDM. Number 8, unless otherwise agreed, all acts and written binding on the YSDM shall be approved by the council. The supreme organ of the new YSDM structure shall continue to be the General Council of the YSDM Parliament. It shall be composed as follows. Number 1, the national leader. Number 2, the deputy leader. Number 3, the chief of personnel. Number 4, the general secretary. Number 5, the assistant general secretary. Number 6, the 13 cabinet secretaries. Number 7, representative from the following 5 representatives of each of the 8 states of the homeland, namely Ekiti, Lagos, Ogun, Ondo, Osun, Kwara, Kogi, and Oyo equals 40. 2 representatives from Ishekiri, 2 representatives from Yoruba of Akoko, Edo, United Kingdom 5, United States of America 5, Canada 5, France 2, Germany 2, Italy 2, Belgium 2, the rest of Europe 2, Middle East 2, Benin Republic 2, Ghana 1, Togo 1, Cote d'Ivoire 1, South Africa 1. Note, the number of the representatives is subject to amendment as they grow in membership upon proper review and council approval. Henceforth, the YSDM, the Yoruba Self-Determination Movement, Akojopo Ajijangbara Omo Yoruba, regions shall be identified in the following way: YSDM Lagos State, YSDM UK, YSDM Benin Republic, etc. Section 3. The National Cabinet, otherwise known as Executive. The Council shall by majority vote establish the YSDM Executive, which shall be referred to as the National Cabinet. Composition. The National Cabinet shall comprise of the National Leader, the Deputy National Leader, the Chief of Personnel, General Secretary, Assistant General Secretary, and the 13th Cabinet Secretary. Duties of the National Cabinet. The National Cabinet shall execute the decisions of the General Council, recommend policies for the General Council's consideration, and represent the YSDM, the Yoruba Self-Determination Movement, as necessary. Meetings. The National Cabinet shall meet as necessary, but no less than once in a month. Selection of the National Cabinet members. Aside from the founding national leader, Professor Adebanji Akintoye, whom the founding council selected, the succeeding national leader and all members of the National Cabinet shall be nominated from within the council or any YSDM organs, nominated by individual or member organization, and confirmed by a simple majority vote of the council. The national leader shall be leader of the self-determination struggle and the National Cabinet, provide leadership with regard to the purpose, aims, and objectives of the YSDM, the Yoruba Self-Determination Movement, Akojopo Ajijangbara Omo Yoruba, appoint a deputy national leader to assist in special duties, represent, speak, and act on behalf of the Yoruba people, represent the YSDM with third parties unless otherwise set forth in these articles or agreed by the council, perform other functions that may be ascribed to his office. The deputy national leader, or currently Otumba Ademola, the deputy national leader be appointed the national leader of the self-determination struggle, represent the national leader when he is not available, provide leadership regarding the purpose, aims, and objectives of the YSDM, Yoruba Self-Determination Movement, Ajijangbara Omo Yoruba, represent, speak, and act on behalf of the Yoruba people, represent the YSDM with third parties unless otherwise set forth in these articles or agreed by the council, and perform other functions that may be ascribed to his office. The Chief of Personnel. The Chief of Personnel shall serve a term of 2 years, renewable for an additional term. Provide leadership regarding the purpose, aims, and objectives of the YSDM, the Yoruba Self-Determination Movement, Ajijangbara Awomo Yoruba, represent the YSDM with third parties unless otherwise set forth in these articles or agreed by the Council, preside over the General Council meetings. The General Secretary served a term of 2 years, renewable for an additional term. Be the Secretary of the General Council and the National Cabinet, coordinate the Secretariat, convene the General Council meetings according to the meeting calendar, approved by the Council, and where necessary, convene meetings as directed by the National Leader or as determined by the Council. The Assistant General Secretary served a term of 2 years, renewable for an additional term. Support the General Secretary as needed. Where the General Secretary is unavailable, shall assume the duties of the General Secretary. Section 4. The YSDM Department. Each department shall be headed by a Secretary of State that shall be a member of the National Cabinet and shall serve a term of 2 years, renewable for an additional term. Provide leadership for each of their respective departments. Represent, speak, and act on behalf of the Yoruba people. Each member organization shall nominate from among his ranks the individuals who shall serve in the various departments. The Secretariat shall review the nominations and make final recommendations to the Council for approval after thorough vetting. The Yoruba Self-Determination Council, YSDC, shall by majority vote establish the following standing or permanent department: Security Department, Finance Department, Legal Department, Project Management Department, Publicity/Media Department, External Affairs and Diplomacy Department, Youth and Sport Department, Agriculture Department, Membership Department, Education Department, Culture and Tourism Department, Awareness and Mobilization Department, Harmony Intervention Department. Note, every department shall be headed by a secretary, otherwise referred to as Secretary of State. Expectations of the Secretary of State and the Chief of Personnel. All cabinet secretaries are members of the National Cabinet of the YSDM, the Yoruba Self-Determination Movement. Their first duty is an unfaltering loyalty to the executive and the General Council of the YSDM, and above all, to the Yoruba nation's struggle to liberate itself from the destructive stranglehold of Nigeria. Number 2, their second duty is to deliberately, resolutely, deedfully, always in all situations and circumstances, view themselves as important leaders of the Yoruba nation who must uphold and promote unity and harmony among activists of the Yoruba self-determination struggle and among all the Yoruba people. Number 3, their third duty is to consciously, deedfully elevate and uphold the Yoruba nation and its painful needs of this time as more important than personal and sectional friendship, locality, regional, or geographical considerations, and therefore to be prepared continuously and harmoniously to render the specific duties that have been assigned to them in the Yoruba struggle and to ensure that others of their cabinet colleagues will be able to do their assigned tasks without obstructions or difficulty. Number 4, their fourth and highest duty is to live consciously and consistently in the knowledge that today's Yoruba struggle is the Yoruba nation's last standing ground in this world, and that if the Yoruba nation is to survive and continue to exist, this struggle must simply and absolutely end in a Yoruba victory. Duties of the Secretaries of State. Number 1, Security Secretary. A. Oversee the Yoruba self-determination organizations that have security wings and promote their working together for effective protection of the activities of the Yoruba self-determination struggle and security of the Yoruba homeland territory. B. Work closely with all Yoruba security departments. C. Secure resources to the organization in funding, equipment, welfare, resources, national information. D. Provide regular report to the Yoruba self-determination movement executives. 2. Finance Secretary. A. Control the management of all the funds and accounts of the YSDM known as the Yoruba Self-Determination Movement. B. Establish new account for the YSDM as directed by the YSDM executives. C. Promote existing fundraising programs of the YSDM. D. Create other fundraising programs for the YSDM as directed by the YSDM executives. E. Oversees the progress of the Yoruba Central Account. F. Establish a trustworthy and transparent system for the custody and disbursement of funds. G. Recommend officials to manage the YSDM Yoruba Self-Determination funds and accounts, make nominations to the YSDM executives, and control all such officials as directed by the YSDM Council. H. Provide regular report to the YSDM executives and council. Legal Secretary. A. Take control of all legal needs and issues of the Yoruba self-determination struggle through the YSDM Yoruba self-determination movement. B. Coordinate legal action on behalf of the YSDM. C. Ensure compliance with the YSDM rules and regulations. D. Establish a register of lawyers to be on standby voluntarily or a retainer. E. Provide regular and periodic report at either the executives or the council. Number 4. Project Management Secretary. A. Advance existing development project such as the creation of the Yoruba National Bank, Youth Farm Project, and work closely with the appropriate secretary for effective and successful implementation. B. Promote any new project. C. Report regularly to the YSDM, known as the Yoruba Self-Determination Movement Executive and the Council. 5. Publicity/Media Secretary. Coordinate and harmonize the publicity for the YSDM. Inform and sensitize our people on the YSDM purpose. Executive mobilization towards the YSDM goals. Identify and mobilize media houses on press releases. Provide regular and periodic report to the executives and the council. Have control of the YSDM media and communication outlet such as the Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, etc. Act as a liaison officer between the YSDM and the significant media group such as the Yoruba Nation World Media, Yoruba Nation Homeland Media, and all Yoruba Nation independent media outlet. Provide regular report to the YSDM executives and council, external affairs and diplomacy secretary to promote broadly and fully the Yoruba cause in international organizations, international agencies, international media, and selected countries. To identify Yoruba in diaspora, either individuals or groups with potential for reaching and interacting with the leaders or rulers of any country, or to promote and instruct these about the diplomatic possibilities and to give them the backing of the YSDM for diplomatic effort. To take full charge of and give serious support to already ongoing Yoruba diplomatic effort in any country, region, or world group. To work with the Media Publicity Secretary to produce appropriate publications, documentary, newsletters for the use in the Yoruba diplomatic effort worldwide. To plan, arrange, and to see the implementation of diplomatic visits by the YSDM leaders or delegations to any countries to reinforce the Yoruba diplomatic effort. To make available to the world approved information on the Yoruba diplomatic effort. To set up a lobbying group for diplomatic purposes. Provide regular report to the YSDM, the Yoruba Self-Determination Movement executives and council. Youth and Sport Secretary. Popularize information concerning the place, prospect, and importance of the youth development programs in the coming Yoruba sovereign state. Encourage and support youth programs and activities in the Yoruba self-determination effort to promote various sport activities among Yoruba youth, promote Yoruba ethics among our youth, prepare Yoruba youth for life challenges, provide regular report to the YSDM executive and council. Agriculture Secretary. Provide technical support to the Yoruba farmers and to those involved in agriculture to enhance their agriculture businesses. Make serious effort to popularize the youth farm program. Evolve plans and programs for raising all kinds of support, funding, modern farming machinery and equipment, agricultural training to the Yoruba youth. Start the creation of Ileto farm settlement, at least one settlement in every Yoruba state. Support Oko Etile farming system. Provide regular report to the YSDM Executive and Council. Membership Secretary, to keep the executives and the council informed on the membership numbers and relevant statistics relating to the local, state, and country membership strength. Keep record of all the active and inactive groups or organizations in the YSDM. Provide regular report to the YSDM executives and the council. Educational Secretary shall be responsible for educational policies in Yoruba land, develop strategies for ensuring quality education for all school children and adult learning in Yoruba land, liaise with the educational institution in Yoruba land to understand the challenges faced in educational institution and how to provide solutions, to advise on the development of potential new projects, exploring options for teaching resources, e-learning and workshops. Provide regular report to the Yoruba Self-Determination Movement, YSDM Executive and Council. Culture and Tourism Secretary, develop a great campaign on Yoruba cultural heritage and take it to the Yoruba people and to the world at large. For this purpose, involve educationalists and panels of educationists to put together the content, involve the proposed YSDM newsletter, produce documentaries and hold frequent lectures, get appropriate people to write articles for newspapers and hold press conferences, expose the rich cultural tourism potential of the Yoruba land, use qualified persons from the universities, provide regular reports to the YSDM executives and council. Awareness and Mobilization Secretary, develop a municipality of strategies to provide leadership and strength to existing grassroots and mobilization programs and activities in the Yoruba homeland and especially by youth groups and local government area YSDM Council. Start more grassroots and awareness programs, plan the YSDM rallies in the homeland, bringing into the effort all the known strength of the rallies among the Yoruba people. Encourage and promote mass rally in the countries of the diaspora. Provide regular report to the YSDM executives and council. Harmony Intervention Secretary, intervene as necessary to conflict among Yoruba self-determination activists. Advise the YSDM Executive Committee, the YSDM Council concerning general measures that can promote harmony and ward off conflict. Provide regular report to the YSDM Executive Council. The Yoruba Self-Determination Secretary, members of the Secretariat shall be selected by the General Secretary and Assistant General Secretary and presented to the General Council for ratification. The number of the personnel to be nominated to the Secretariat shall be decided by the needs of the self-determination movement. The Secretary shall be headed by the General Secretary, provide administrative support for the work of the Council. The department and the national leader shall be responsible for the administration of the YSDM website, facilitate meetings and the agenda of the meeting, engage in the disseminating information to the various organs of the YSDM, provide regular and periodical report at the council meetings. The local, state, country YSDM structure. YSDM shall maintain a local, state, and national council. Each local council shall comprise of 2 representatives from each member group or organization. Every state in the homeland shall determine the number of representatives from each local government in their state council. The local, state, country coordinators. The YSDM local, state, country coordinators shall provide leadership about the purpose, aims, and objectives of the movement. The local, state, country coordinators shall represent, speak, and act on behalf of the Yoruba people nationally and internationally. Unless otherwise agreed, the local, state, country coordinator shall represent the YSDC to third parties. Section 8. Record of local, state, country meetings. The secretary of every local, state, country council shall maintain accurate minutes of all meetings. The meetings shall be contained the names of the persons who were present for discussion, content of the discussion, including any alternative to any proposal, and a record of any vote taken in connections with the proceeding. Membership requirement. Every Yoruba group or organization shall be eligible for membership in their countries, state, or local government, if it shares the purpose of Yoruba self-determination to actualize sovereign and independent Yoruba nation. Each of our self-determination organizations shall remain independent, operate as it chooses, be strong, vibrant, uncompromised on the demand for our Yoruba sovereign country. Each organization shall register with their country's state or local government of residency. Each local government, state or country of the YSDM shall determine membership due on registration fee. There shall be the YSDM charter in every local government of the homeland which is being overseen by the state that belong. Every intended organization shall satisfy such other requirement as may be stipulated by the executive. Article 4, the Yoruba Central Account. Section 1, Establishment. YSDM Yoruba Self-Determination Movement shall through the Finance Department establish and administer the Yoruba Central Account. Section 2, Purpose. The Yoruba Central Account is to be the central fund for the Yoruba. It shall be a master fund beyond small fund created by individuals or organizations. The Yoruba shall be the beneficiary of the fund for the causes that include but not limited to self-determination. Section 3, Administration. The YSDM as a trust shall have trustees to administer the Yoruba Central Account through the Finance Department according to the global best practice. Keep meticulous records and facilitate annual auditing by a reputable accounting firm. Section 4, Asset. All assets by the YSDM including but not limited to registration fees, membership dues, and all remunerations donated to the YSDM are property of the YSDM, either directly or through the Yoruba Central Account. Monies given to the YSDM and the Yoruba Central Account, either individually or through a member organization, are non-refundable property of the YSDM. Its success or assigned. Article 5, Meetings and Voting Procedures. Section 1, Meetings. The council shall hold general meetings which shall be held every 2 weeks, be facilitated by the Secretariat, and shall be run according to the basic rules of order. The Secretariat shall issue a calendar of the meetings at the beginning of the fiscal year, and for the remainder issue notice of the meetings at least 3 calendar days ahead of the meeting. Each department shall have the power to hold their own meeting as they deem necessary. Where there is an urgent issue or other circumstances, an emergency meeting may be called by the national leader, deputy national leader, chief of personnel, the secretariat, the secretary, or by consent of the third party of the general council. The emergency meeting shall run according to the basic rules of order. Notice of an emergency meeting shall be issued to the council as soon as the practicable possible under the circumstances. An annual general meeting shall be held every September to review the activities of the previous year and to highlight the goals and aspirations for the coming year. Voting, depending on the issues matter to be voted on, shall be decided by a simple majority of those active members present and voting at the meeting in which the vote takes place. A simple majority is 50% plus one of those active members present and voting at any meeting. Article 6, Withdrawal. Requirement for removal and removal process. Withdrawal by a member organization. A member organization may withdraw from their local, state, or country council by a written statement submitted to the secretary, to the secretariat by the secretary of the member organization, certifying that most of that member organization have decided to withdraw from the council, and the secretariat shall promptly inform the council accordingly. A member organization may recall a nominee to the council by a written statement submitted to the secretariat by the secretary of the member organization, certifying that the majority of that member organizations have decided to recall a particular nominee to the council, and the secretariat shall promptly inform the council accordingly. The representatives of a member organization that withdraw or has been removed from the council shall forthwith cease to appear at the council meeting and not entitled to the removal procedure outlined in section 3 of this article. A member organization that withdraws from the council may be readmitted to the council upon a simple majority vote by the members of the council who are present and voting at the council meeting. Requirement for removal. Any individual or member organization may be removed from the YSDM upon severe violation of these articles of association or by act of disciplinary committee due to gross misconduct, which potentially tarnish the image of the YSDM Yoruba self-determination movement, impede the purpose of the YSDM as set forth in Article 2, removal process. The process shall begin with the submission of a written complaint to the General Secretary. The General Secretary shall inform the complaint to the Armed Intervention Secretary, who shall conduct a thorough investigation within 30 days of receiving the written complaint. Upon conclusion of an investigation, shall give 2 weeks notice of a hearing to the individual or member organization accused to the General Council. The hearing shall be open and transparent to as many members of all the YSDM organs who wish to attend. A disciplinary panel of 7 members shall be appointed by the Harmony Intervention Secretary, comprising of the coordinator and 6 other members. A member of the Harmony Intervention Department who shall not sit on the panel shall present the case at the opening hearing. The individual or member organization accused shall be afforded a meaningful opportunity to present a defense and evidence, including but not limited to witness testimony. At the conclusion of the hearing, the panel shall withdraw for private deliberation and vote. The Harmony Intervention Secretary shall not vote on the panel decision except to break a tie. After deliberation, the panel shall return with a decision based on a simple majority vote, which shall be announced by the Harmony Intervention Secretary. The decision of the individual panelist, however, shall remain confidential. Article 7. Confidential and conflict of interest. Section 1. Confidentiality. All individuals who walk through any of the organs of the YSDM and are exposed to sensitive information hereby have a duty of confidentiality. They undertake never to share information about their work publicly or with those who do not need to know such sensitive information. Members of the council, executives, the secretariat, the department shall use good judgment in advising of any information that is sensitive, which shall then be treated as confidential and shall not be disclosed to any person who does not need to know. Section 2. Conflict of interest. The conflict of interest policy is to protect the YSDM, the Yoruba self-determination movement interest when it is contemplated entering into a transaction or arrangement that might affect the benefit, the private interest of a member, or might result in a possible excess benefit transaction. This policy shall supplement or not replace any applicable laws governing conflict of interest. Every person or entity contracted for transaction or arrangement must sign a statement or clause indicating disclosure of any direct or indirect connection to any members of the YSDM, delegated with authority to decide or participate in deliberating a proposed transaction or arrangement. If the person issuing the statement is not aware of any conflict of interest, the statement shall so indicate. Article 8 starts. If in furtherance to the YSDM purpose, it becomes necessary to employ staff or contract a professional service, the secretariat of any member of the YSDM may suggest such to the council, which upon a majority vote may employ staff or retain a professional. Staff may be temporarily, permanent, or independent professional, lawyer, researcher, contracted for a specific temporary project. Upon approval of such recommendation by the council, the secretariat shall determine the scope, parameters, duties, powers, and compensation of the staff or independent professional contracted. Aside from an independent professional contracted for a specific project, where there is more than one member of staff, the secretariat shall, as needed, create a structure or hierarchy for the YSDM staff and report this to the council. Article 9, Amendment. Member organization may propose an amendment through their representatives upon public debate at the general meeting, where members shall be allowed an opportunity to speak on any proposed amendment. These articles of association may be amended by a simple majority vote. Written notice of the proposed amendment along with a summary of the changes to be effected thereby shall be submitted to the secretariat, which shall disseminate it to the council and place on the agenda after the secretariat receives the proposed amendment. No more than 2 council meetings shall pass before the general meeting where the council shall discuss and vote on the proposed amendment. Once an amendment has been voted on by the General Council, this should be updated on the Articles of Association and circulated. Every update shall be tagged by the date, which will be unique to the document AA100424, day, month, and year. Article 10, Adoption of Articles of Association. Section 1, Adoption. Upon adoption of Articles of Association by the Council at the final review meeting, each representative on the Council shall formally adopt these Articles of Association by appending their signatures to the following statement. We, the undersigned, being the founding council of the Yoruba Self-Determination Movement, do hereby adopt the foregoing clauses as the Articles of Association of the YSDM Yoruba Self-Determination Movement. Section 2, Future Members. All members who wish to join the YSDM, the Yoruba Self-Determination Movement, after the adoption of these Articles of Association, do so pursuant to these Articles of Association and agree to be bound thereby. The following are the members of this committee tasked with producing these revamping Articles of Association: Kayode Emola, Secretary; Gani Alagbala, Chairman; Sam Oyabayo, Member; Barrister Olasupo Ojo, Member. We are grateful to all these 4 individuals and many people that work with them to give us the updated Articles of the Association. We then take a short break and we come back as we continue asking our right to self-determination will be respected by the international community and the federal government of Nigeria.
That's all. But there seems to be some confusion in Yoruba. I see that maybe perhaps the generality of the people do not feel as passionate about self-determination. And secondly, there is all kinds of positions. Afenifere is talking about restructuring. You are talking about self-determination.
You don't know this. You don't know the nature of the Yoruba society. You don't. Most of the young people, and they are the majority in Yoruba land, want the self-determination of their Yoruba nation. That's the truth of the matter. That's what is keeping the movement going. And they are also doing so in the diaspora. Yoruba young men and women all over the world want their own country, separate from Nigeria. You cannot deny that, no matter how much you want to pander to the government. You cannot deny that. But that's the truth.
But anyway,
the important thing, however, and I'm surprised that you are not talking about that, is that the Yoruba people who are fighting for self-determination are telling the world and telling themselves that they will do it only peacefully. We are Yoruba. We know our status in the world. We know our status in the black world. We do not want to destroy the peace of Nigeria, and we do not want to bring difficulty into the lives of any other group in Nigeria. But we want to get out of Nigeria. That's it.
Well, Prof, you were a strong member.
And you're not talking about that. You are asking me questions. You are asking me questions as if what Onitiri did has the support of the majority of Yoruba people who want self-determination. It is not true.
Well, Prof,
she has a small minority of a section that is ready to do illegalities. A year ago, they went and attacked a radio station in Ibadan, and so on. Now this year, they are attacking the entire government of Ibadan, and so on. No, but we have never sent anybody to go and do that, and we do not support it or encourage it. Prof, and we think it is criminal.
Prof,
and so if they get punished for their criminality, we have no objection to that.
Prof, you are a strong member.
But you cannot, because of them, generalize opposition to self-determination. You cannot.
Well, Prof, you are a strong member of the Unity Party of Nigeria, also a very strong member of Afenifere. Afenifere is talking about restructuring. You are now talking about self-determination. What is the difference, you know, in these two ideological positions?
Yes, our fathers in Afenifere are doing the right thing. Talking about restructuring so that we can go back and live our own life the way we used to live it prosperously. They're doing the right thing. There is nothing wrong with that. But we, another group of people, larger in number than they, are now saying, no, self-determination is the answer, not restructuring. Why? Because when you restructure, you are still in Nigeria. The people who are coming and disrupting your life and destroying your farms and killing your women and raping your mothers and daughters and so on are still Nigerians. They still have a right to come to Nigeria. The only final solution to that is to separate so that you have a separate Yoruba country where we can make our own laws and so on, where to which we admit only people we want to admit. So nobody can claim that they have a right to come to our land. They don't have such a. But as long as we are in Nigeria, no matter what restructuring is done, they still have the right to come to our land and do the things that we are doing. Nobody is talking about the fact that most Yoruba farmers have been driven from their farms. I am not hearing that. I'm hearing only about government. I'm not hearing about people. You are not talking about the fact that most Yoruba farmers have been driven from their farms and that the Yoruba nation is in danger of famine upon famine upon famine for years and years to come. You are not talking of the fact that the Fulani declared war on Nigeria on the 24th of January and 26th of January and said that TINUBU is not our president. We are going to Aso Rock. We will take over the seat of government there, and we will use this place to organize the conquest of the rest of Nigeria. You're not talking about that. You are not talking of people who said, no Fulani man must be arrested for the bomb in Ibadan. If you do, you will have bombs in every town in Yoruba, in Nigeria. Nobody is talking about that. Nobody is talking about the sheer insult of living in a country where some people are treating the government like that. You are talking about Onitiri and so on. Why do our...
Well, Prof, let me ask you this. Self-determination,
you are entitled to your opinion. You are entitled to your opinion, but what I'm saying is that your opinion rigorously avoids the truth. Rigorously.
But Prof,
avoids the truth.
Nigeria, as Onigo Chiche told us in his research on ethnic nationality.
Let's leave that and come back because of the time constraint. Once again, a very good afternoon. Mo kí gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá ní gbogbo ibi tí ẹ ti ń gbọ́ wa. Èyí tí a kà tán lẹ́ẹ̀kan òun ni update látara àwọn iṣẹ́ tí àwọn YSDM tí wọ́n ń ṣe ní background láti lè jẹ́ kí gbogbo ètò ìrìnàjò Yorùbá nation kó lè ní kìmí, kó lè ní àṣeyọrí. A dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ àwọn tí wọ́n ṣe gbogbo ètò náà pé kí bó ṣe ń lọ. Àwa dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀yin tí ẹ bá wa gbọ́ náà. Ẹ má bínú, àwọn kan sọ pé channel wa kan ní YouTube pé audio yẹn ó ń crack. I'm not too sure why that problem is. But ẹ bá ní problem pẹ̀lú one particular platform, please, we are streaming on 2 YouTube channels. Please find your way to the other platform so that you can be able to see and watch as well. And we are also live on many other channels that we are streaming from. Mo kí gbogbo alẹ́ kan sí pé ẹ káàbọ̀ padà. Ẹ jẹ́ ká wọnú ètò díẹ̀ lọ kó tó di pé a máa mú ètò náà wálẹ̀. Ẹ̀yin tẹ́ wà lórí MixLR. Ẹ má bínú, I think somebody is also saying that we should check the voice. Ẹ má bínú sí wa. Yeah. Mo kí gbogbo lé lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí pé a kú iṣẹ́ takuntakun, a dẹ̀ kú ìgbìyànjú Ọlọ́run ọbẹ̀ Olódùmarè á bá wa dé ìgbìyànjú wa ní adé àníṣe lásán. Ẹ má jẹ́ kó sú wa, ẹ má jẹ́ kó rẹ̀ wá. No matter what people say, Nigeria would eventually dissolve. It's just that when and how soon is what nobody knows. But with the economic collapse, the insecurity, nobody knows where the president is. A lot of things are going on. All these will be part of the factors that will eventually lead to the collapse of Nigeria, just as many other countries have done in the past. Ẹ jẹ́ ká ka átíkù tí a tún rí níbí báyìí látọ̀dọ̀ bàbá wa Oluwole Ajala. Nigeria dissolution is the solution. Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ní the dissolution is not a solution, the restructure. The longer you restructure Nigeria, ẹ ṣì máa wà nínú Nigeria náà ní gbogbo tó bá ń ṣe náà ọmọ Nigeria ló ṣì máa pè yín. But when we break away from Nigeria, it will be in the interest of me and you. So let's read this small article and then we'll talk about the YSDM a little bit more. And then I want to also tell you that, like I always say, this is an international platform. If you look at the headline from the Guardian newspaper, the SNP may be laid low, but the call of the Scottish independent is loud and clear. Many of you, Scotland has everything that we can think of, far, far better than the way Nigeria is structured today. When you talk about welfare, the Scottish people have it. When you talk about healthcare, the Scottish people have it. When you talk about education, security, the Scottish people have it. But they are still saying that they want to be free from the 1701 of what led them to become a member of the union called the United Kingdom. But until máa ń yà wá lẹ́nu ni pé ọmọ Nàìjíríà tí à ń jẹ lénìí tó jọmọ Yorùbá tí kò ní any iota of truth to themselves or herself pé Nàìjíríà kò ní kankan tó ṣe fún ẹ. You are still fighting to save Nigeria because of the criminal politicians that wants to keep Nigeria. I wonder what kind of brain you have. The Scottish people, tó bá fún ẹ ní visa lénìí pé kó wá sí UK, that UK visa guarantee you to Scotland. But Scotland náà wọ́n fẹ́ arrangement yẹn mọ́. Àwọn fẹ́ control visa wọn so that ìwọ́gbọ́n tó ń gbọ́ mi tó jọmọ Yorùbá lọ́jọ́ iwájú we might have better relationship with Scotland as an independent country. Don't you like that? Ṣé o mọ̀ pé lẹ́ni nísìn the reason why most of you don't get the visa is because Scotland ló fẹ́ lọ lóòótọ́ but UK ló ń determine visa yẹn. But when the Scottish people become independent country, UK kọ́ ló máa determine ẹ̀ mọ́. Wọ́n máa ní sójà tiwọn, wọ́n máa ní ọlọ́pàá tiwọn. Even though as of today, in any international tournament up to the football, Scotland máa lọ represent àwọn Scottish people. England máa lọ represent àwọn English people. Wales máa lọ represent àwọn Welsh people. But ní Nàìjíríà, àwa àti Igbo àti àwọn ẹ̀yà tó kù, àjọ máa do pitch láti lè di member the national team of the Nigeria country. Tá bá dá dúró gẹ́gẹ́ bí orílẹ̀-èdè, a máa ní gbogbo kìíní tó máa separate as an independent. Á tó wá jẹ, á tó wá mu. O ní láti máa lọ ṣe wàhálà kó tó di member national team. Tó o bá tẹ̀ wọ́ ti football, o lè ṣeé ṣe kó jẹ́ pé o lè lọ sáré fún wa, o lè lọ ṣe swimming. There will be so many activities of sport. O lè máa bá wa jẹ̀ṣẹ́, o lè máa wa mọ́tò bíi Lewis Hamilton and many more like that. But the problem is, àgbọ́yé tó yé yín ẹ̀ ń feel pé tẹ́ bá ṣì wà nínú Nàìjíríà wàá lọ di Navy officer ní Nàìjíríà. No, tá a bá ti gba country tiwa, you will be able to be embedded if you're qualified to become a member of the naval force of the Yoruba nation. Kódà o lè ṣe ọlọ́pàá ti Yoruba nation. You can set up your own business. You can have your own things done with your true identity. Nigeria is not our true identity. Àwọn British ló create Nigeria for their own selfish gain. Those are the Scottish people. So when you look at the headline here, àwọn wo ló ń pè ní SNP, the Scottish National Party, wọ́n ní maybe lie low, but the call orin kan tó ṣì ń kọ ni pé Scottish independence is loud and clear. There is no doubt about it. Weekend tó kọjá ẹ̀ wọ́n sì ṣe protest or rally. So let's read a little bit from this. Polls say the nationalist cause is no parity among voters are misleading. The aspiration to once again be a sovereign European state has only been strengthened by devolution. Like an arthritic old tree in autumn, the Scottish National Party is shedding its vote. It does this almost seasonally. A shiver followed years later by another spring. And yet, the Scottish National Party souls and cause independent isn't shedding its supporters. In tó ń ṣàlàyé níbẹ̀ ni pé àwọn supporters wọn wọ́n give up lórí pé kí àwọn Scottish wọ́n dá dúró. Ó wá ń yà mí lẹ́nu pé ọmọ Yorùbá tí yà ń jẹ nínú Nàìjíríà tó ò rí ṣe, tó jẹ́ pé orí tó gbé wá sáyé, orí tó yẹ kó dání, àmọ́ nínú Nàìjíríà tó wà òun ló sọ di bó ṣe wà. Àwọn ará Scotland wọ́n give up, tí ló wá mú wọ́n tó fi pé ó jẹ́ ká give up. This is not the time to give up. Kódà the new minister, because the old one ti lọ, wọ́n ti gba new one nísìn after the old one resigned last week. John Sweeney òun ni the new first minister for Scottish. Ó náà mú sí báàkì ọ̀rọ̀ tí the previous one sọ nípa independent strategy. Independent strategy náà ni àwọn YSDM fi sọ pé article of association yìí wọ́n ti updated. Ìdí tí a ṣe ń pariwo pé a fẹ́ dá dúró tí a máa go through a lot of process òun náà ni pé kí gbogbo wa wà lábẹ́ ìṣọ̀kan ẹyọ kan. Òun ṣe pé kélé náà máa dá tóun ṣe, èmi fẹ́ ṣe tèmi lọ́tọ̀. But at the end of the day, all this does not help us. If you're serious and you want us to go out of Nigeria, it is important. Lóòótọ́ àwọn kan máa ní kò lè possible, kò lè ṣeé ṣe. There's no problem about that. But one thing is, Nigeria fúnra rẹ̀ ó ti ń dẹnu kọlẹ̀, ó kọ̀ kù díẹ̀ kò jábọ́. So let's read this headline again before we go to the final part, because this program comes to an end very soon. John Sweeney backs Hussein Yusuf's Scottish independent strategy. John Sweeney has confirmed the Scottish National Party remain wedded to Hussein Yusuf independent strategy for the next election. The next election in Scotland is going to be a very tough one, because the Scottish people will vote towards àwọn tó máa lè gbé ọ̀rọ̀ wọn lọ síbi tí wọ́n ti fẹ́ ṣe nǹkan pè ní nǹkan pè ní the breakup of their union with England. Mo wá tún wá sọ fún gbogbo wa lẹ́nu pé we should not give up, we should not be tired. We will get there, but it might take a bit of back to forth. So let's read this quickly before we start winding down the program this evening. Dissolution is the solution, right, Oluwole Ajala. It is time for us to exercise the power of sovereignty that we have wasted and sold under the guise of spurious elections over the year. The 4 years election is a fraud. It is not going to give you joy. It will even give you pain every 4 years. As Ango Abdullahi said in a summary in his various write-up, this amalgamation isn't working. Therefore, it must be dissolved. A peaceful dissolution is the next recourse. But into yẹ káwọn olóṣèlú wa máa sọ ní bá ṣe máa kúrò ní Nàìjíríà. But tá a bá máa fi rí ọdún méjì nísìn, ariwo ẹ lọ dìbò, ariwo ẹ lọ gba PVC, máa fún ní àkàrà tepo àtẹ̀pà. Òun lọ́mọ máa fi tàn yín. We should not be discussing about election. We should be discussing about the dissolution, and we can then have the future in our hands. This imperfectly amalgamated Yoruba group of kingdoms, the caliphate, Emirates, the Igbo Republican state, and other smaller nations within have gone through continuous bloodletting. All you need to do is ask yourself, since the Nigeria, how many people have been killed and how many blood have been spilled on a daily basis? And that is still going on. Ẹni tó kàn ló mọ̀, tó bá kàn ẹ́ kò mean pé kò ṣẹlẹ̀. During Buhari, 29,000 Yoruba people were murdered by the Fulani terrorists. Low intensity warfare, distrust. We will never trust every one of us. Lè trust àwọn Igbo. Igbo lè trust wa. Lè trust àwọn Hausa. Lè trust Fulani. We are Yoruba people. Bá ṣe ń ṣe tiwa, ó yàtọ̀ sí báwọn ṣe fẹ́ ṣe tiwọn. Insincerity and the false pretense at unity. What unity? It only exists on paper. If we have all in various degrees suffered, there will never be unity in Nigeria. Mo fẹ́ Igbo, mo fẹ́ Hausa is not what we are talking about. We are talking about the general identity tí wọ́n ti gbà kúrò lọ́wọ́ wa, which is one of the reasons why we say we want to exit Nigeria. Nothing binds us together. Kò sí kankan tó pa wá pọ̀ rárá. No common ancestral origin. Èdè tí mò ń sọ àfọmọ Igbo tó bá gbé láàrin Hausa àtàwọn ẹ̀yà tó kù ló lè gbọ́ Yorùbá, bọ́ tẹ́ bá béèrè pé níbo ni agboolé ẹ̀ wà kò lè mọbi tó wà torí pé wọ́n bí sí okùn ṣọmọ ọdún yẹn gangan bọ́tẹ̀ bí sáàrin wa. Our culture wa yàtọ̀. Bá ṣe ń ṣèyàwó yàtọ̀ sí báwọn ṣe ń ṣèyàwó, bá ṣe ń sọmọ lórúkọ yàtọ̀ sí bó ṣe ń sọmọ lórúkọ, bá ṣe ń dáná oúnjẹ oríṣiríṣi ó yàtọ̀ sí báwọn ṣe ń dá. Tí bá ní kọ́ bá mi ṣe gbẹ̀gìrì nísìn, ọmọ Igbo ò lè mọ tán pè níbẹ̀ àfi tó bá jẹ́ pé ìtókọ. Way of life, our lifestyle is different. Afẹ́fẹ́ ayé là wá, a yàtọ̀ sí wọn. Our mode of dressing, bíyàn bá múra tán, wọn ọmọ Yorùbá ló ń lọ nígbà tó bá wáṣọ òkè. Bọ̀ lẹ́ni nísìn, ọmọ Yorùbá ní ká má wọrí pé ká kéèpù Nàìjíríà torí pé Nàìjíríà ń kọ́ òun ni Ọlọ́run dá. Mo dẹ̀ sọ fún yín pé bàbá Adébóyè gan-an ní sọ pé Ọlọ́run ló dá Nàìjíríà, gbogbo ẹni mo fi sọ. Ìyá àdúrà gbọdọ̀ jáde kó sọ pé Ọlọ́run ló dá Nàìjíríà. Food preparation, bàbá fẹ́ dáná oúnjẹ patí, a mọ̀ pé bí àwọn ẹ̀yà tó máa kù tó máa wá ló lè fi yàtọ̀, but ìdáná tiwa ó yàtọ̀. Bá ṣe máa dá, bá ṣe máa sè é ó yàtọ̀ sí báwọn ṣe máa ṣe tiwọn. Àwọn lè fi iyọ̀ púpọ̀ sí i, kódà àwọn lè gbé gbogbo orí ẹran síbẹ̀, àwa máa ní àwọn máa ṣani kó bá ṣe é jẹ. All these are reasons why we can never be one. Mo kí ìyá wa Alhaja Sampras TV ẹ káàbọ̀ sórí ètò. Mo kí gbogbo ẹni tó wà lórí ètò ẹ má bínú, I cannot mention names because the program is very, very intense this afternoon. And governance before the creation of the amalgamation by the Europeans. The British took hold of the lower reach of the rivers, the Niger and the Benue and the Appellate called it Nigeria, and the French likewise made do with the dry upper reach of the river Niger, was called Niger in French. In actual fact, there are two Nigerians in the West Africa, one that speak English and the other that speak French. Tó bá yẹ Benin, part of ilẹ̀ Yorùbá ni, àwọn olè Faransé ló jàgbà, àwọn sọ bẹ̀yẹn di French area, àwọn òyìnbó sọ tọ̀dọ̀ tiwa di English. English tá à ń sọ yìí is not our language, kò kí ń ṣe èdè wa, is a borrowed language, is not our own language. Èdè Yorùbá gangan ni èdè ọmọ Yorùbá, but unfortunately wọ́n ti gbẹ̀dẹ̀ yẹn kúrò lọ́wọ́ wa, and for us to have a full independent Yorùbá country, tá a máa lo èdè yẹn a lè sí nínú Nàìjíríà. Tó bá ṣì wà nínú Nàìjíríà, you will not have a full Yoruba speaking country. The name Nigeria, orúkọ Nigeria, was first used in an article published in the Times of London ní January 8, 1897 by Flora Shaw. Àwọn kan níyàwó Lugard never got married to her. Girlfriend àti boyfriend làwọn méjèèjì. Wọléwọ̀de ìgbà tí Lugard ò rí love láti ìgbà tó padà láti India ni ó di ẹni tí ó wá love lọ sí Africa. through this expedition. Láti expedition yẹn ni Lugard ti ń káàkiri bí ẹ̀ṣọ́ níwòlímọ̀ tó fi gbé dé Nàìjíríà tó fi gbé dé region yẹn kó tó di pé Shaw àti Lugard lọ sọ di Nàìjíríà. Ẹ jẹ́ àgbọ̀n tí bàbá wa Ajala tó sọ nínú átíkù yìí. The name Nigeria was first used in an article published in the Times of London ní January 8, 1897 by Flora Shaw, the girlfriend of Frederick Lugard. Àwòrán àwọn méjèèjì lẹ́ ń wò lábẹ́ mi yẹn, wọ́n ń ṣọkọ àti ìyàwó, girlfriend àti boyfriend ni wọ́n. Bí pásítọ̀ kan bá sọ fún ẹ pé Ọlọ́run ló dá Nàìjíríà, àwọn tó dá Nàìjíríà sílẹ̀, àwọn lẹ́ ń wò nísàlẹ̀ yẹn, èèyàn bíi tèmi ni wọ́n ń lọ toilet, wọ́n ń jẹun, wọ́n ń mu, wọ́n ń yàgbẹ́, wọ́n dẹ̀ ń ṣe kí ni, wọ́n ń ṣe jigijigi. The name came in handy as this was towards the close of diplomatic battle ní 1890 lọ sí 1898 between Britain and France over the claims of territory in West Africa. Olè burúkú ni Faransé àti British. Olè tó ń jà ní pé jàgbà níbí jàgbà lọ́hùn lọ́ba kúkú ní nígbà tá a bá jẹ́ pé ìkọ̀kan náà lájọ fẹ́ mú ẹ̀yin ò ṣe mú òkè tọ̀hún káwa mú tìsàlẹ̀ tẹ́ bá wọ Benin lẹ́ni nísìn gbogbo nǹkan tó rí létí mọ́ Faransé lẹ́ máa bá níbẹ̀. Whereas part of Ọ̀yọ́ empire ni ìyẹn la ṣe ń sọ fún ọmọ Yorùbá pé ẹni tó mọ̀ tán ó ṣàmú àrọ́bá ó yẹ kó gbọ́ díẹ̀ nínú ìtàn tá à ń sọ yìí torí pé ìtàn tí wọ́n gbà kúrò lórílẹ̀ Yorùbá kò tẹ̀ jẹ́ kẹ́lòmíì kò yé wa pé àwa la nílẹ̀ yẹn títí dé Togo àti Ghana. But as it is, the 1884 Berlin Conference wọ́n ti pin mọ́ra wọn lọ́wọ́ àwọn òyìnbó àgbàlagbà tó mu sìgá tọ́bìnrin jókòó lé wọn lórí tí wọ́n wá pe gbogbo ẹ̀ ní ọ̀nà tó wù wọ́n. Thus, the incongruous creation of protectorate in the north and the south resulted in the amalgamation. A British trading post and a sphere of influence. It is not working. We are collectively delaying our individual progress and development. Ohun ẹ̀bùn lọ mọ́ṣáláṣí, ò bá ṣàṣàlátù 300, ò bá àfàtẹ̀sùbà 1000, èmi náà gbé dé London ni. All that, mo tẹ̀ ránjẹ́ tí mo ti jókòó fàṣà, tí mo ti fàtẹ̀sùbà 1000, gbogbo mo ti ní táìmù yẹn. Nàìjíríà lẹ ti ń fàtẹ̀sùbà 1000, ìṣẹ́ ló mú yín kò ní kankan ṣe pẹ̀lú ẹ̀. Nàìjíríà tó kó wa sí, òun ló ń jẹ́ kó máa jókòó àdúrà tó pọ̀. Àníyàn ń ṣàdúrà bọ̀ máa jókòó máa ṣàdúrà 3 hours fàbú ló bá dé irọ́ ló wà ń bẹ̀. Ṣàdúrà díẹ̀ lọ ṣiṣẹ́ tí gọ́ọ̀mẹ̀ntì máa fún ẹ ní opportunity tí society máa ṣiṣẹ́ tó ń ṣe èyí tó wà nínú ẹ̀ tó ń lọ sí mọ́ṣáláṣí tó wá di pé tó ń lọ sí church láàárọ̀ Monday títí dijọ́ Sunday torí pé òun wá ìgbàlà kò sí ìgbàlà kankan nínú church. Church is just there for you to pray and go out. Tí bá lọ sádùúgbò mi nísìn gbogbo church lọ ti pa pastor mo ti lọ faṣẹ́ but it's only in that crazy continent lọ ti parọ́ fún yín pé máa wá heaven nígbà tí à ń jẹ́ nínú Nàìjíríà ó wá náà sì máa wá heaven ó ṣe kúkú wá heaven yẹn níbí báyìí kó tó máa lọ wá heaven nígbà tó bá kú torí pé gbogbo ẹni tó kú kò sẹ́ni tó padà wá tó wá sọ fún wa pé bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ibìkan rí lọ́dọ̀ òun lọ́hùn. We will all be better off to dissolve so that each will work within their new countries and or nations according to their wishes, pace, vision, language, ancestral origin, and dreams of a future that suits them. Àwa ní future, a ní dreams. Àwọn ẹ̀yà tó kù lè má nírú dreams ta fẹ́. Àwa ta dẹ̀ mọ̀ pa ní dreams. Kí la wá ń ṣe nínú ìdọ̀tí? Kí la ń ṣe nínú rẹ̀ làrálẹ̀? Tinubu nísìn láàmú bá ṣe ń gbọ́ wọn ló ti kú wọn ló wà láyé bá ṣe ń gbọ́ nìwọ má sọ pé ò tí ì gbọ́ má wàá parọ́ fún mi pé ò tí ì gbọ́ ìwọ náà ti gbọ́ pé wọn ló ti kú ó kú òye ó kù sọ́wọ́ presidency láti gbé àwòrán Tinubu jáde bóyá ó ti kú ni bóyá ó wà láyé ni kó jẹ́ ká mọ̀ torí pé kí ni president ṣe lè máa káàkiri tá à ní mọbi tó wà. Ara fraud tó ń bẹ nínú Nàìjíríà náà nìyẹn ara àìsàn òtítọ́ tó ń bẹ nínú Nàìjíríà náà nìyẹn ara tí wọ́n ṣe tàn yín títí tó di pé gbogbo yín ẹ ti wà níbi tí ogun ọrọ̀ ajé ó ti wọlé wá bá yín tó ò bá dẹ̀ bìlí pé ogun ọrọ̀ ajé ti wá wọlé bá yín bóyá kíwọ náà kò gbọ́ bí arábìnrin tó ṣe ń ta kí ló dé tó ṣe ń ta ẹ̀já gbọ́n tó sọ.
ló ta gàrí ike ọ̀dà kan á lọ pọn mi láàárọ̀ yìí omi dálọ́pọ̀ rẹ̀ bá fún ẹ̀yọ̀kan 15 naira kí ló dé ìṣàánú wa wọ́n ní jàǹkàbá ni ẹ ṣàánú wa ọ̀rẹ́ kúndùn lówó lọ́wọ́ ìṣàánú wa a lè rọmọ skul public dog là ń rọmọ wa kí ló dé má pa wá Nàìjíríà igi ọkọ sí mo lọ rà ara rẹ̀ wọ́n ní 300 kí ló dé ráìsì 30 ní 210 ní 2100 ẹ̀tún tẹ̀yẹ̀ ní 2250 kí ló dé ní ráìsì pọ̀ 70,000 kí ló dé ẹ ṣàánú wa o tó bá yẹ ní Jagaban wọ́n lè ra mọ̀tínà nígbà kẹsẹ̀ mi ṣẹ̀dúró rẹ ní ìdìnnà igi ẹni wọ́n ní 500 naira kí ló dé ẹ̀jẹ̀ ṣàánú ọmọ mẹ̀kúnnù ẹ fẹ́ pa wá ní ẹ fẹ́ kọ́ wá ní before I get one.
mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀ tẹ́ wà lórí ìjókòó ṣe rí pé kò sí vision we are all in trouble àtẹni tó ń bẹ níta àtẹni tó ń bẹ nínú ilé we are all in trouble èmi o I don't see what I can invest in that shithole country because number one kò sí òfin tó máa back mi tí n bá wọ wàhálà gbogbo tó bá invest nínú Nàìjíríà I wish you the best of luck èyí tẹ́ ṣe invest I will not invest my 10 kobo èyí tá ti invest àgbà return lé lórí. Let's go further quickly. The call is now for the dissolution of the fraudulent amalgamation through a referendum supervised by the United Nations as a matter of urgency before the country descend into a total anarchy and chaos. O lè ní Koiki má dá ogun sílẹ̀ because that is the stupidity of what many of you have said in the past. Pé èmi àti Ìgbòho àwa la fi dá ogun sílẹ̀. Mo wá ní èmi àti Ìgbòho ní agbára láti dá ogun sílẹ̀. Ṣé ráwọn ìyá tẹ̀ ń rí yẹn wọ́n ń bọ̀ láti wá dá wàhálà sílẹ̀. Wàhálà tó máa dá sílẹ̀ sí lọ́rùn ó máa ju èyí tí ẹ̀ ń fi pé ní fi wá dá sílẹ̀ láti ìgbà tá ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ movement lọ. Bọ̀ bàbá kan wá sọ̀rọ̀ ó ní Tinubu wá nǹkan ṣe sọ̀rọ̀ Nàìjíríà yìí tó o bá wá nǹkan ṣe sọ̀rọ̀ Nàìjíríà bó ṣe ń lọ yìí tó o bá wá nǹkan ṣe sí Tinubu tó o bá wá nǹkan ṣe sí only there's an imminent to war but the chances pé kò ní sógun nínú Nàìjíríà chances yẹn slim gan èmi ò pè fógun o torí pé wọ́n ní ẹni tí ìjà òde bá ló ń pè rẹ̀ lọ́kùnrin àmọ́ kí ló pásítọ̀ yìí rí tó fi ń sọ pé ogun ń bọ̀ ẹ̀gbọ́n tó sọ ká tó máa tẹ̀síwájú láti mú ètò ìwá sí ìsàlẹ̀.
I pray God will give Aṣíwájú courage to do it because it will affect even himself. It will affect all the APC powers. It will affect all the MDs of banks. The MDs of banks are the destroyer of this system. The powerful, the high and the mighty. He is stepping on their toes. I pray God give him the grace to do it. The next thing he should do, tell him if you know him, is to restructure this country. Nigeria is a fraud. One particular tribe repressing the whole of us. Did you hear what Central Bank governor wants to do? Just a department, the operation department of Central Bank, to be moved back to Lagos, where you have 99% of the headquarters of bank. The North is agitated. Don't take Abuja back to Lagos. They don't care. If you all become beggars, it's okay for their oligarchic mentality. I talk like no other pastor talk. I talk like no other pastor talk. Because I have seen into governance, I have seen into the church. And I know where the problem is in this country. Are you hearing me? They may not like what I'm saying, but they cannot dispute the truth. This country cannot go on like this. Okay, I was talking about those who migrated. I don't blame those that want to japa. You know, initially I was saying don't japa. Do you hear me say that again? Japa if you want to japa. Because you look at the country and say, what future? If it goes on like this, what future? If it goes on like this, civil war is imminent.
Tó bá continue bó ṣe ń continue, civil war is imminent. Pastor Femi Emmanuel ló ń jẹ́ kò ń ṣe Koiki ló sọ ẹ̀gbọ́n lẹ́nu wọn bẹ́ẹ̀. I will leave it like that. Mo kí gbogbo alẹ́ nǹkan sí, I will not be able to mention all your names, but we appreciate every one of you that have joined us in this particular broadcast today. As usual, self-determination is a fight that must be continued. Ẹni tó bá ti sú ẹ̀bọ́lẹ̀ ń bẹ̀, ẹ̀ pàdé wa lọ́nà nígbà tá a bá débi tá à ń lọ. Àìtí gba country o, but we are praying and hoping it will not become an imminent to war. Katulo. We hope that President Bola Tinubu will be returning back to France. Some say he is dead. In terms of ìwọ náà ti gbọ́ má ní èmi ni mò ń sọ. Wọ́n náà ti kú, wọ́n náà ti gún lábẹ́rẹ́. I don't pray so. But again, we hope that the presidency will release a few video of Tinubu with date and time so that we can know that he's alive. If otherwise, we will continue to monitor when he returns back to Abuja. As I leave you this afternoon, I say thank you so much for being part of the program. If you're new to the platform, continue to follow us on all our platforms. If you're not getting notification, try to follow us on all the platforms. One of them will give you a full notification. And ní jù bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ ní ọ̀sán yìí, mo kí ọmọdé, mo kí àgbàlagbà, mo kí gbogbo wa pé ire o títí tá a tún máa fi mú nǹkan míì wá láti máa fi bára wa sọ̀rọ̀. Ọ̀rọ̀ gbìyànjú kò gbọdọ̀ sú wa, kò gbọdọ̀ rẹ̀ wá. Gbogbo àwọn tó bá ń sọ̀rọ̀ pé kò ní bọ́ sí ẹ máa ní kọ́ máa fẹnu wọn sọ̀sọ́kùsọ. Eléyìí ó ti bọ́ sí àsìkò tó fẹ́ dé òun ni gbogbo ẹ̀ tí mọ̀ gbogbo tó ń lọ pátápátá ní Nàìjíríà ọlọ́bẹ Elédùmarè kò ní jẹ́ kó kọlù wá, but àwọn tó ń kọlù náà báwọn náà ṣe ń gbàdúrà náà nìyẹn. But we have to be in reality that Nigeria must come to an end so that our future can be much brighter than the one that we have today. And on that beautiful note, mo kí wa pé Yoruba nation, no going back. Yoruba nation is for life. We will not stop asking for our quest to self-determination regardless of whoever might not feel comfortable. Have a very good afternoon. Bye for now.